Hello and welcome to a module on privacy and the media. This is a part of MOOC on media law and ethics. This module is trying to address a few fundamental questions about privacy and the ethics of journalistic behavior related to the privacy, whether one can use hidden cameras or hidden mics, or what is that privacy is all about, why we should not intrude into the privacy of somebody, particularly the celebrities, and what the court says about it, what the constitution says about it, what is the public space. So, these kind of things we will be addressing in this particular lecture. First, to start with, let me cite a couple of definitions to capture the idea of privacy. We have huge number of privacy related definitions available here, but I will take a couple of definitions so that to catch the mood of understanding the idea of privacy. To start with, I will read out Charles Fried quote. He says that privacy is not simply an absence of information about us in the minds of others, rather it is a control we have over information about ourselves. So, it is a control about ourselves, what kind of information that we have been controlling to make it public or not to make it public. The second one is by Cohen. This is one of the well cited definition. Privacy is an indispensable feature of a democracy where an individual maintains his identity while contributing their civic duty. So, it is an indispensable feature of a democracy. It cannot, if you want to have democracy, then you should have permitted the privacy to the citizens. And one more definition by Orwell, he points to the need for privacy as a shield against the power of the state. The more one knows about individuals, the easier it is to influence, manipulate, or even control them. Liberal democracy is unthinkable without the effective guarantees of privacy. So, when you know about one particular citizen more and more about him, then it is easy to control the particular group or individual. In a free democratic society, public affairs are usually marked by openness and private affairs are normally shielded from the public view, whereas in totalitarian societies the reverse is generally true. So, when you hide more and more thing, then it is running away from the openness of the government and running away from the democratic spirit of a governance. To understand further on privacy, we have to talk about a theory called circles of intimacy. Just imagine your own life. In the innermost circle, you are alone. Some things about yourself, you and you alone know, fantasies, unarticulated hopes, memories, and you would feel violated and invaded if someone learned those things against your will. That is, just imagine yourself as the first circle. You know about yourself, unarticulated hope, fantasies, memories, and many things about life. That is called the first circle, and where you will have your own memories, and if somebody enters into that without your understanding, without your permission, then you will feel violated, you will feel agitated. That is the idea that is being talked in the first circle. Now, we will move on to the second circle. Beyond yourself, there is somebody who will close to you, right. So, you occupy the second circle with at least one other person, perhaps a spouse, sometimes a professional such as a member of the clergy, a lawyer, a doctor, or a college counselor. In the second circle, you share intimacies that you want only the one other person to know. You reveal yourself, some of your innermost being. That is, you occupy the second circle. From the first circle where you have been keeping yourself, where you are not permitting anybody else, the second circle you are having at least one or two. It can be a close friend, it can be a colleague, it can be a priest from the church or the temple, or anybody, even the teacher that who is counseling you. So, those people you will reveal something beyond your inner circle to the next circle. So, this is called second circle. In this second circle, you are in the primary private relation with one other human being. So, this is normally, if you are a male, then it will be a wife, if you are a female, then it will be a husband, and so this is not moving beyond to more than one or two persons. Trust that the one to whom you have revealed yourself will neither betray the trust nor use the revelation to your disadvantage. Our law recognizes this importance of these primary relationships, and we move on to the third circle. The third circle from the center contains other people to whom you are very close. It may include your family, it might incorporate close friends, fellow fraternity. So, the third circle is a little larger beyond yourself, your wife or your close friend, to the next level where you have a little larger group called family or office friends or the close friends where you have been maintaining. So, such kind of relationship, that is called the third circle. So, the key moral ingredient is that you are in control over who does and who does not get access to your private information. So, this is the key point. The key moral ingredient of these three circles says that you are the one that you have been controlling yourself, that who can enter into your first circle, your second circle and the third circle. So, one can extend this image of circles to the outermost circle, the least intimate, which encompasses all humanity. There are some things about yourself that you would not object to all humanity knowing. So, certain things that we will never bother, whether you are a public figure or a private person or a very ordinary person, then we never bother about revealing ourselves to the entire humanity of many of our ideas. Those things constitute your most public self. To have privacy is to possess control over your circles of intimacy. So, this is being the circles of intimacy theory insists that one controls the levels of circles and we permit people to let into our domain. You may choose to be a very private person bent on concentrating yourself, or you may be very public, willing to share intimacies widely with others. Whichever you choose to be, the important morality issue is your right to decide just how public or private life you will be, right. So, you can decide, choose to be very private person, or somebody will be very reserved, somebody will be very talkative. So, what kind of person you are, whom you are admitting, that you have the complete freedom and complete liberty to control yourself, and you can let people into the circles. So, what this argument is trying to convince you is that privacy is a precondition for developing a sense of self, and privacy provides opportunities to examine fantasies, dreams, hopes, etc., through intimate interaction with trusted others. So, privacy is very much required to develop a self, to develop my own freedom, my own dreams, fantasies, hopes and my all wishes. These are all possible only when I control myself and develop my intimacy. So, liberal democracy employs privacy as a check on the state, that is, to have knowledge about a person is to hold power over the person. So, if you want to control somebody, then it is easy if you have the information about that particular person in your hand. If you know everything about him, then it is easy to control or manage or coerce somebody based on the information you have. So, one who has no privacy, one is completely open and he or she will be readily coerced. So, the state can easily coerce somebody if it knows about everything about one particular person. So, privacy represents the power to control access to oneself, and thus it conveys some capacity to resist the coercive power of the state. So, how do you control yourself, how do you open yourself, and these are all being let others or the state to manage yourself or control yourself. At this juncture, I have to tell you about the US Patriotic Act passed in immediately 6 weeks after the attack of the Twin Towers. The government, US government was hurriedly passed this particular act. This is called Uniting and Strengthening America by providing tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism. And this particular act has very special significance to understand the privacy or the evolution of privacy in the global sphere. Signed into law hurriedly 6 weeks after September 11, 2001 and renewed in March 2006, this legislation shifts the Department of Justice goal from prosecuting terrorists to preventing terrorism. So, this hurriedly passed act has shifted the goal of the Judicial Department from prosecuting terrorists to preventing terrorism. So, the idea has been heavily shifted, so which has costed the idea of privacy. Among the controversial provisions dealing with privacy, it grants to the FBI what its critics call overboard access to the confidential records of citizens if needed for the clandestine intelligence of suspected terrorism. That is, the particular act has given extraordinary permission to FBI to interrogate anybody if somebody is being suspected on the grounds of terrorism. So, that is the first time that US government has relaxed the privacy rules. That means that the intelligence or private the interrogating agencies were given authority to interrogate anyone if it suspects that there is something fishy about link with the terrorism or terrorist activity. So, privacy lies at the very heart of the most cherished values of human civilization, such as freedom, dignity of the humankind and individual autonomy. The fundamental issue of privacy as on individual's moral right is the control the entrance of others into the one's own circles of intimacy. That is, we discussed about intimacy. So, the fundamental issue of privacy is that how an individual's moral right, that how we control somebody to let into the various circles of intimacy to the ground level, then next inner level, then innermost level. How do you control them? It depends on the level of privacy you control. Individually, we are unique entities possessing our own personal identities, memories, hopes and goals. Thus, individuals need to identify the boundaries, physical and spiritual, that set them apart the separate entities. So, only when we control ourselves, then only we can keep ourselves individually from others. We are in part autonomous beings, self-ruling, self-directing, because privacy defined as control over access to one's circles of intimacy is essential to self-identity and self-direction. Democracy asserts privacy as a right. So, democracy very concretely saying that privacy is a right for and it is an asset for every democratic citizens, and being an autonomous persons, we govern ourselves, self-ruling ourselves, and we direct our own path, we direct our own vision and aspirations. Privacy is not an absolute one. The moral issues are framed by these two legitimate rights: the individual right to measure of privacy and the right of others to know some things about the individual. So, there is two things. One is the individual right to measure of privacy and the right of others to know something about the individual. So, this conflict, I want to keep myself close, whereas the society wants to know about me. If I am a popular person, then society wants to know about me, but whereas I want to keep myself close. So, this controversy is the key idea where we need to discuss about what is the limit for the keeping myself close and what is the idea for to enter into or intrude into the privacy of somebody. Because humans are individual beings, the total elimination of privacy would eliminate human existence as we know it, and because we are social beings, the elevation of privacy to absolute status would likewise render human existence impossible. At the same time, we cannot say that the privacy cannot be made as an absolute right, then that would also make the human existence impossible. So, activities that restrict the right to privacy such as surveillance and censorship can only be justified when they are prescribed by law. So, if you want to control somebody in the name of censorship, in the name of surveillance, then that should be granted by the statute books or constitutional law, otherwise that is not permissible. The right to privacy is the central to the protection of human dignity and forms the basis of any democratic society. It also supports and reinforces other rights such as freedom of expression, information and association. So, the right to privacy is the central to the protection of human dignity. If you want to be a dignified person, then you need to have the privacy, and it is central to the other forms of freedom such as association, freedoms of expression and all kinds of the 6 freedoms that is guaranteed in the constitution. If you want to have that, then you should ensure that everyone is having the privacy. As a number of international instruments enshrine data protection principles, and many domestic legislatures have incorporated such principles into national law. Internationally, that being a information society, we need to thought about incorporating data protection also. Individual data needs to be protected, and we have international laws and national laws have been incorporated such kind of international instruments. Social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter and Instagram have become surveillance centers, storing the personal information of millions of users. These sites continuously define what is legally considered as private. As a result, our personal data are often violated without our consent. So, in one of the report of the special rapporteur of international protection of freedom of information and expression says that right to privacy is often understood as an essential requirement for the realization of the right to freedom of expression. Undue interference with the individual's privacy can both directly and indirectly limit the free development and exchange of ideas. So, in this particular presentation on what is privacy, we have tried to explain what is privacy and why do we need to have privacy, and the circles of intimacy, what is circles of intimacy and what are the various levels of circles where one can control, and how the privacy has helpful to development of self and autonomous of an individual. So, this presentation would have given you an idea of what is privacy.